The debate over whether foundational Black Americans deserve reparations has been one of the most pressing and controversial issues in both politics and social media today. Conversations around reparations has always been a vital part of African American history. Dating back to the end of slavery, it began gaining significant momentum and public traction around 2019. That's when the demand for reparations resurfaced more boldly and unapologetically across the national stage. But this is more than just a trending topic. This is about justice, restoration, and the fulfillment of a long overdue debt. Reparations are not a handout. They are a necessary acknowledgement and remedy for the centuries of unpaid labor, systemic racism, and state-sanctioned harm endured by the descendants of American slaves. In this video series, we're going to briefly discuss why reparations is a must. Because reparations for FBA is not just an idea, it's a mission, and it must be achieved. Before we continue, welcome to the Ascend Media channel. I'm your humble host, Lion Elite, and if you like the content and the message I produce for you, please hit the like button, share, and subscribe, as I will make it my mission to bring the most valuable news, knowledge, and wisdom there is. Now, let's start with one of the most undeniable truths: generational theft through slavery. For over 250 years, Black Americans were forced to build the foundation of this country through free labor, unpaid, brutal, and dehumanizing work that generated billions of dollars in wealth for the U.S. economy, while our ancestors were denied wages, land, and even basic rights. White families and institutions were stacking generational wealth that still benefits them today. And what were we left with? No compensation or no equity, just broken promises and centuries of struggle trying to catch up in a race we were never allowed to start fairly. Look around. Almost every major corporation, franchise, or economic power structure in this country is owned and operated by white families or other ethnic groups. That's not by coincidence. It's the direct result of that stolen labor and the refusal to pay it back. Imagine if our communities had been given the same head start, if reparations had been paid generations ago. Think about how strong, self-sufficient, and booming Black neighborhoods could be today from coast to coast. Yes, we're seeing a rise in Black entrepreneurs and business owners in this generation, and that's powerful, but let's be honest, it still doesn't come close to the economic position we would be in if we had been given what we were owed when it was owed. This isn't about dwelling on the past, it's about acknowledging how that past still shapes our present, and until reparations are paid, that theft remains unresolved, and so does the damage it caused. Then, as we move down the ladder, we are faced with yet another obstacle, which is state-sanctioned discrimination. So after slavery, Black Americans endured Jim Crow laws, redlining, mass incarceration, and exclusion from federal programs like the GI Bill and New Deal housing loans. These policies were explicitly designed to deny economic progress. And when we talk about reparations, it's important to look at global examples, because reparations have been paid before. Take Germany, for example. After World War II, the German government paid over $80 billion in reparations to Jewish Holocaust survivors. These payments weren't just for the atrocities committed during the Holocaust. They also covered post-Holocaust discrimination, lost property, and long-term trauma, and those payments weren't delayed for centuries. They began within years of the war ending. Now compare that to the African American experience in the United States. Enslavement lasted over 250 years. After that, we endured Jim Crow laws, lynchings, racial terrorism, redlining, voter suppression, and mass incarceration. Yet more than 150 years after slavery was abolished, not a single dollar has been paid in reparations to the descendants of American chattel slavery. The difference is undeniable, and it exposes the uncomfortable truth that the U.S. government has never made a serious effort to repair the harm it directly caused to Black Americans, even though it has the precedent and capacity to do so. So, if we recognize that Germany was able to acknowledge its wrongs and offer tangible justice to Holocaust survivors, then why is it so controversial when Black Americans whose suffering built this country's wealth ask for the same? Beyond the political, economic, and historical arguments, there's a spiritual dimension to the demand for reparations, one that speaks to the unseen but deeply felt energies that still shape our world today. The trauma and suffering endured by our ancestors, millions of Black men, women, and children enslaved and brutalized in the United States, was not just physical, it was spiritual and emotional, leaving behind a legacy of unresolved energy. According to spiritual law, energy cannot be destroyed, it only transforms. That pain, that injustice, that grief, it still lingers in the collective consciousness and in the very soul of this country. This is why we continue to witness spiritual imbalances manifest in real time. Plantations burning, floods devastating former sundown towns, and the sharp decline in white birth rates over the past decade, these are not coincidences. They are reflections of a deeper cosmic imbalance, a karmic echo from a history that has not yet been corrected. In many spiritual traditions, from ancient African cosmologies to metaphysical teachings, the concept of as above, so below reminds us that what is left unresolved in the spiritual realm will inevitably manifest in the physical world. Reparations, therefore, are not just about repairing economic injustice. They are about restoring spiritual harmony. When the dominant society takes true accountability, not symbolic gestures, but real action and compensation, it creates a ripple effect across realms. It signals not only a turning point in our reality, but also a healing of ancestral wounds, the beginning of spiritual reconciliation for generations past, present, and future. Because until justice is done in this world, peace cannot fully exist in the next. To sum it all up, reparations for foundational Black Americans isn't just about the past. It's about correcting a system that was built on exploitation and still refuses to acknowledge the damage done. From the stolen labor during slavery to the economic sabotage that followed, the impact is still alive today. Meanwhile, we've seen other groups receive compensation for harm done to them, and rightfully so. But that same justice has never been extended to the descendants of American chattel slavery. Reparations are not about guilt, they're about accountability. They're not about division, they're about repair. And if this country truly believes in justice, equality, and freedom, then it must be willing to make things right, not just symbolically, but materially. The time for discussion has passed. The time for action is now. If this video spoke to you, challenged you, or opened your eyes even just a little, do me a favor, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. This is more than just content. This is a mission, and I appreciate you being a part of it. Until next time, peace, power, and purpose.